Hello, I'm Stephanie. I just wanted to do a video on how I lost over 100 pounds and I didn't count any calories. Uh, I'll just start out by saying this is not going to be for everybody, and once you hear how I did it, you'll probably click off. Some of you will, because it seems not extreme. Lots of people do it. I mean, millions of people do it. But if you are addicted to food and you're addicted to sweets and all of the things, then it's going to seem pretty dramatic and not for everybody. But basically, I eat super low carb. I wouldn't say that I'm carnivore, and I'm definitely not always keto. I know that there's different classifications of low carb, keto, lion diet, carnivore, all the things, but I don't know. I just say that I eat low carb. I try to keep my total carbs. I don't count net carbs, but I try to keep my total carbs 20 and below. Not always successful at that. Sometimes I'm 30 carbs. Sometimes I'm 10 carbs. To be honest, most of the time I don't really even count my carbs anymore, but I do use the Carb Manager app, which you can get a free version of it on your iPhone, probably on a Google phone or something like that, Samsung or something. I don't know. They probably have that in the app there too. But it's free. I don't pay for it. And I don't even use it all the time anymore. I did in the very beginning, and I don't really use it anymore. Well, that's not entirely true. I have gone back to using it. I used it for well over a year, pretty much every day. There were days that I didn't log things, but then I kind of got out of the habit of it because I am a creature of habit and I ate the same things over and over again, and I kind of had a general idea of what I was eating. But the past year, 2025, I have not lost as much weight. So I kind of went back into it to kind of see if I'm getting enough protein, but regardless, yes, I was using an app to count, but I was not counting my overall calories. And this is the first time in my entire life that I've never attempted to count points with Weight Watchers or calories. Come on, Bubby. So this was new. I wasn't focused on the calories and how many calories I was eating a day. In some backstory, I'm sorry, I kind of jumped right in here. I kind of figured people would want to know the method before they spent too much time on a video. I know it's not for everybody, so I kind of wanted to get that out of the way. This is my dog, Stanley. He'll be joining. Say hi. Okay, sorry. I love my dog. What can I say? In 2023, I believe it was November 11th, so a couple of weeks before the holiday, I had this really brain schemed idea that I was going to start eating low carb, and it didn't really come out of nowhere. I mean, I had seen videos for months prior, and it just felt like too extreme, like not being able to eat pasta again, not being able to have pizza with the crust, and all of the things. It just felt overwhelming and not like something I would enjoy doing. And I had tried low carb before, but I was still eating a lot of processed carbs, like processed low carbs, like low carb wraps, things like that. Things that had the label keto or low carb on them. I was still eating those things. This was many years ago, before you could find all this stuff in the store. Like, you could find some stuff, but now there's a lot of stuff in the store. But I didn't stick to it, and I only did it for about a month, and then I was kind of over it. And I always see videos on YouTube from Dr. Berg, and I had recently, over the past few years, started following Dr. Ken Berry and a couple of others, and Nisha Berry, which is Ken Berry's wife. But anyway, I would watch the video and I would be inspired, but not inspired enough to actually stop eating the things that I really enjoyed, because it just felt hard, right? Like, there would be no joy left in life if you didn't eat pasta anymore. And so silly me, a couple of weeks before the Thanksgiving and Christmas vacation and holiday, I decided I was going to start eating low carb. And I had a lot of the meat, because I am very meat heavy. I think you kind of have to be if you're eating low carb, unless you're eating like super low carb vegetables and fruits and things like that, because it just doesn't account, when you're counting total carbs, it doesn't really allot a lot of room in your diet for those types of things anymore. So I do eat a lot of meat, but I'm not carnivore. But I had this silly idea that I was going to start, and probably in October of 2020, and she had seen a banana cream pie in the freezer section, like a Marie Calendar, and she's like, "Oh, you would like this, wouldn't you?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I would love that. Like, I want that for Thanksgiving." So my mom bought it in October, and she had it in her freezer. And I had no idea in October that I was going to completely change my diet, or even that if I was going to change my diet, that I would even stick with it, right? Because I never stuck with counting calories or Weight Watchers for any more than consistent 2 or 3 to 4 months, and then I'd kind of give up. And I had no even inclination that I was going to start doing any low carb at that point. So my mom bought the pie, and 2 weeks prior, on the 11th of November, I decided I was going to start changing my diet. And I had bought all the stuff at the store that I had planned to eat for at least a week, and I had in my mind, that I'm going to eat low carb wraps and things like that just to get me through. Things that had like net carbs. They were still kind of higher in total carbs, but they were net carbs. And I decided I was just going to try to do it, but give myself some allowances, right? Like lower carb things, but things that Dr. Ken Berry would tell you not to buy if you've watched any of his videos, or Dr. Berg, how they still have so much processed stuff in them, but I wasn't going to jump in and just go with it. So I decided that I was going to give myself some wiggle room. And I had bought a package of the low carb wraps and anticipated that I was going to eat them. But a couple of days in, I don't know what happened. Like, I just felt so much different. So much different. And it was literally like just 2 days. But then, a week and a half to 2 weeks later was Thanksgiving, and then Christmas, and all the delicious stuff, the pies, the food, the cookies. I still thought, even after a week of not even eating the low carb wraps, that I was going to end up eating junk or delicious junk for the holiday, because it's the holiday. And weirdly enough, Thanksgiving came, and my mom was incredibly accommodating. She made sure that whatever it was I wanted to eat that day, which really wasn't much, to be fair. I had a lot of turkey. I had green beans, because I do still like green beans. I had green beans. I had a little bit of cottage cheese. I had pickles, because if you know anything about me, pickles are delightful. I love pickles, not sweet pickles, but I just love dill pickles. So I had pickles, and I had some cheese, and I think I made a cheese ball that was like made out of cream cheese and like dried beef or something, like low carb. I took pork rinds, plain pork rinds, and my mom had made the pie, and I thought, it looks delightful, it smells delightful, and my mom hates anything banana. I thought maybe my sister or my brother-in-law or niece and nephew or something would eat it and it wouldn't go to waste, but nobody ate it, and I felt bad. So I did taste it. I took a regular tablespoon and I put some on a spoon and I ate it, and it was absolutely delicious after about 2 weeks of not eating really that many carbs compared to what I was used to. And that was it. I didn't eat any more of it. But we have like a family tradition of going to other people's houses after we eat our family Thanksgiving, and we look at the sale ads and we just hang out together. And my mom took the pie there, and I think everybody ended up eating it, so I didn't feel so bad. And like I said, she did not encourage me to eat the pie if I didn't want to eat it. She's super supportive. She doesn't care. But I did feel bad about the pie because, in October I had planned to actually be eating a standard American diet like I had for years prior. But I wasn't tempted. I mean, like I said, I did eat a spoon of the pie, and that was it. I didn't eat any more. I could have easily eaten more of it because it was delicious. And it might have been delicious simply because, I don't know, I hadn't eaten that many carbs every day prior. But I wasn't that tempted by it. So Thanksgiving came and Thanksgiving went. I did great. The weight was steadily coming off. It almost seemed like without effort, because normally I would snack a lot throughout the day, or I would eat a lot. Even if I only ate 2 or 3 times, they were always big quantities, and then I would always snack, because every time I would eat a meal, I needed something sweet. I think a lot of people probably have that same addiction, or they have that same craving. But it was different. I was eating, I think in the beginning, maybe 2 to 3 meals a day, and I wasn't eating nearly as much because I was literally full from the meals that I was eating, which were pretty meat based, pretty meat heavy. And it was weird. I mean, if you have ever experienced that before, where you're eating properly and you just don't have the same cravings that you used to have, it's weird. Just progressed. I will say by late November into early December of the first year, I got a really bad cold. Like a really bad cold. I don't normally go to the doctor when I have a cold. I usually just take cold medicine and ride it out, even if it takes a month and it like slowly goes away. Like, I just deal with it. I had to call the doctor. Like, my cough was so bad that I was literally throwing up. And I don't have any clue if that had anything to do with the change in my diet. I mean, I've heard of the keto flu and all of that, but it wasn't the same. Like, I had an actual cold. But anyway, it lasted for like an entire month. And I had to call the doctor and get a cough prescription and all this stuff. And it finally did go away. And I will say, prior to me starting in November, I had this horrible back pain on like my back lower side. And it literally came out of nowhere. And it lasted for probably 2 months. It hurt so bad that I couldn't even lay flat at night in bed. I was sleeping upright on my couch. And it was just ridiculous. And you would think that somebody would go to the doctor for that, but I didn't. I just kind of dealt with it. But anyway, in November, I started the diet, and probably 2 weeks after changing my diet, my back pain went away. Like, it was just insanely weird to me. Like, it literally came out of nowhere, it felt like, and then it just slowly went away about a month in, and I have not had it again since. I used to go to bed every night and have to take an antacid pill because I had horrible acid reflux in my throat and it burned. I have not taken an acid pill in probably over 2 years now. Just a lot of things. I'll go into this kind of stuff in a different video because I know a lot of people probably would want to know, but I don't want to make this video extremely long, and I could talk forever about this. But so many things that I had, like even seemingly non-significant things, disappeared, and then it was like later you're like, oh my god, I used to have that and now I don't anymore. It was weird. But I decided that I wasn't going to eat this stuff anymore. Still eating some celery. I was still eating onions and garlic. I was eating an occasional tomato, green beans, which I usually eat once a week. Even now, I like green beans. Cucumbers, because I love cucumbers, like plain cucumbers, and I love pickles. So those are things I'm probably not going to give up in the future. But as far as vegetable goes, that's really about it. I don't really even eat fruit anymore. Occasionally I'll have some strawberries in my plain Greek yogurt. But I eat a lot of meat. I eat a lot of meat. I eat eggs. I eat a ton of eggs. I eat probably 60 some eggs a month by myself. I eat bacon. I do eat pepperoni and turkey and salami and things like that. I eat hot dogs, canned chicken. I don't really like canned chicken unless it's to make like homemade chicken nuggets or something. I don't eat just canned chicken. I don't really like it that way, but I will use it sometimes to make chicken salad. But I don't do vegetable oils. I don't do ketofied foods. You know, like, I can't say that I don't do them fully. I do like chaffles. I do make them maybe like once a month or so. I don't make them that much because they're not a lot of effort. They're just a lot more effort than I'm used to putting into anything anymore. I used to really love to cook, and now everything is so simplified that I don't really cook that much anymore. Nothing significant anyway. So even to make a chaffle feels too time consuming anymore, which is kind of sad. But I eat chaffles, and there are a couple of things. I make like a biscuit out of a total milk protein. I'll do some recipes and stuff too if anybody's interested. But for the most part, I don't really eat anything that has a keto label on it or you get from the keto section at the store. I really just eat plain foods. I eat, sorry, I know, I love you too. I honestly just eat foods in their regular form. I cook my veggies sometimes I eat my celery raw, sometimes I put it in with a chuck roast, and that is my chuck roast, except I don't put potatoes or anything in it, and you know, I do stuff like that. I've just modified everything. I have lost in just over 2 years. This year 2025 was my third Thanksgiving and Christmas on this plan, and I did not eat any cookies or cheat or pies or anything. I literally eat like the same things over and over again. I think the first year, maybe just tiny bit over the first year, I lost about 90 pounds, 88 to 90 pounds the first year without ever counting a calorie. Like I said, I did count my carbs, I guess, but I wasn't super focused on it. I wasn't like ride or die, it has to be 20 total carbs, and if I go over, I'm mad at myself. Like, but I didn't eat any ketofied foods. I didn't eat anything other than really meat, eggs, cheese, you know, the standard stuff. Coffee, I still drink coffee, and I can't drink black coffee, so. But I really just ate whole foods. I don't know. I mean, there's really not that much more to say to it. I know it sounds so simple and yet ridiculous at the same time, because I had seen a lot of Dr. Berg videos over the years, way prior to even eating this way, and I thought, oh, it sounds great in theory, but like, really, I'm not gonna ever eat sugar again. Like, I was a sweet addict. I was so addicted to sugar. I thought, there's just no way I'm not gonna eat sugar or pasta, or it's never gonna happen. And I just kind of took bits of things that he would say, and I would go with it, like, oh, use more olive oil when you cook, and I would use that, and lemon juice, and all apple cider vinegar, and do all these things, and take the apple cider vinegar pills, and I did all of those things, and I was still hungry all the time. It just didn't, it didn't do anything for me. I'm not saying it didn't help some, it may have, but sorry, it really didn't do anything for me. And I never wanted to fully jump into it because it just felt hard, and like I was giving up too much of my life, not being able to enjoy the things that I wanted. Even though I'm here by myself in my house, like, I can eat what I want and not have temptation in my house. That may be another reason why it was easier for me, because my temptation was only when I left the house, right? And that's only if I'm going to somebody else's house and they're eating, and nobody else in my family eats this way. They eat meat, but they don't, they have it with carbs and starches and all the things. Like, I'm the only one who eats this way. So when you go to other people's houses and you smell the food and you see the things, it just, you feel left out. Maybe that's why I didn't want to do it before, but I don't know. I don't know what clicked this time. I think, well, I think a lot of it had to do with my mom. I don't know what year it was, I'm sorry. A couple of years ago, my mom found out she had kidney cancer, and it was small, and they found it early, but she had to have a partial kidney resection. And part of me thought, I'm really overweight, And what if something happens to my mom and I can't even take care of myself because I'm obese and I'm a pre-diabetic and I'm on the verge of being a diabetic? And it was scary, I guess. And even through the stress of that, I didn't give in to temptation, which by that point I didn't have as much temptation. It's very weird. I have family members who are on GLP-1s, and they say that they experience the same thing where the hunger isn't there. I don't know. I've never had a GLP-1. I don't really know personally how that feels, but when you completely eliminate these things, it's just weird, especially when you've always eaten and you've eaten for joy and you've eaten for entertainment and you've eaten for social events and just out of boredom eating. Like, I don't do any of that anymore. It's weird. Even now, 2.5, little over 2 years in, and it's still weird to me that I only eat like twice a day, and sometimes I only eat once a day because I'm not hungry. Sometimes I force myself to eat a second time just because I think, oh, well, I don't want to eat late and I'll probably be hungry in 3 hours. This is the mental gymnastics that I do go through. I still eat like super low carb, but I'm not really even hungry, and I still sometimes eat just because mentally I feel like I have to eat. It's weird. But my mindset is different, and I don't eat the same types of foods that I used to eat. And honestly, I have been overweight my entire life. I think I came out of the womb obese. Like, I say that a lot because I spent my entire childhood overweight. I believe when I graduated high school, my highest at that point, and I was even higher before or after, but when I graduated high school, I was 254 pounds. And like I said, I've done Weight Watchers many times over the years, and it just doesn't work because I'm not cutting out the sugar. I'm not cutting out all the things. And I know a lot of people will say, well, you can't possibly be healthy because there's no way you can eat fat and you can eat that much bacon and be healthy. But I get my labs done every 6 months. Prior to a year ago, I was getting them done once a year. But now I get them done every 6 months because I have a new doctor and she wants me to. But I get my labs done every 6 months. I was pre-diabetic prior to starting this. I think my A1C was like 6.1, 6.2 or something. I don't know. My triglycerides were over 150. My cholesterol, I was on a cholesterol medication. I was on a blood pressure medication. I took an antacid like every single night. That's not a prescription. Due to get my lab work done again next month. But the last 6 months that I had my lab work done, my triglycerides, I think, were in the 80s. My cholesterol had come down. My HDL went up. I have never ever seen my chart say HDL anything other than 50 over all the years I've gotten my blood work done. My HDL is like 70 some or 80. I'd have to check for sure, but it went up, which is your good cholesterol. I'm no longer pre-diabetic. I think my A1C was like 5.2, 5.4, I don't know, somewhere along those lines. My sodium is still low. My sodium has been low for years, not like drastically low. Like if your bottom number was 130, mine's like 128. I don't know the numbers, but it's not like drastically low, but it is low. And I eat a lot of salt. I salt everything. I take electrolytes. I don't understand the salt situation, but my salt has always been low. I am still on my medication. Unfortunately, my doctor has not taken me off of it yet, but my blood pressure is normal. Usually if I check it at home, I usually check it randomly, not for any specific reason. But it's usually around 107 over 76-ish. And sometimes when I went to the doctor prior to ever starting this diet, they would have to recheck my blood pressure when I got there a second time because it was always high. And I will say that I have that, I don't know what that called, that syndrome where you go to the doctor and all of a sudden you freak out, even though I'm not freaking out. Like, my anxiety like goes through the roof. I don't understand it because I'm not scared to go to the doctor, but like every time I go to the doctor, my blood pressure's high. But I do know the last time I went to the doctor, it was like 110 over 80. So it was even fine then, and it's usually high when I go to the doctor. But I check my blood pressure at home all the time, and it's low for me anyway. It's normal is what I should say. My labs are good. I'm no longer pre-diabetic. A lot of the crazy symptoms that I used to have, I no longer have. It's weird. I mean, I don't really know how else to describe it. I feel better. I will say that I don't really exercise. I hate exercise. I know that's crazy, and exercise is beneficial. I understand that. But I do walk, I guess. My mom and I usually walk half hour, 45 minutes a day. It's really cold in Ohio right now, so we have been walking, but it's cold out there. And actually this past week it's been pretty nice. But me and my mom and my dog, and sometimes my mom's dogs, go for a walk, but that's about as much exercise as I get. I hate exercise. I could lie and tell you that tomorrow I'm going to start an exercise program. It's never going to happen. The best you're going to get out of me is probably my diet. I don't really know what else to say. Like, it amazes me even. Like, the first year, or a little over a year, I lost like 90 pounds. And then over the 2025 season year, I think I only lost about 12 pounds. And I say only 12, but I mean, 12 is great when you've lost that much weight. And yes, I still have weight to lose. I still want to lose weight. I don't know how much. But I guess when I get there, I'll get there and I'll know. I don't really know realistically what I want to weigh. But obviously the more weight you lose, the harder it is to lose. And I'm getting older, and it is what it is, I guess. I try not to beat myself up about it. Like I told my friend the other day, I lost 12 pounds in 2025, and I'm like, I kind of felt bad about it, but then I'm like, why am I feeling bad? I didn't gain 12 pounds. I didn't eat out of the realm of low carb. I didn't splurge on things I shouldn't have eaten a couple of times here and there and thought, oh, well, that probably threw me off. Like, I didn't do anything different. I've been eating literally the same types of foods for over 2 years now, and it may seem boring and weird to eat the same things, but it's like normal for me now. I don't know, but I didn't lose more than 12 pounds, and that's not a bad thing. It's just maybe I think part of it too is I'm complacent. Like, I'm not unhappy with the way that I look. I'm not unhappy with the way that I'm eating. Like, I'm satisfied when I eat my meals. I think I'm just in a pattern, and I'm getting older, and I think I'm like perimenopausal, and I just think I got a lot of things working against me, but I don't know. So I'm down 110 pounds, and I didn't gain any weight at the holiday because I didn't eat anything different. You know, I had a lot of ham for Christmas. I don't know. But, like, I eat ham anyway, so it's not anything different. But I still absolutely love the smell of chocolate and cookies baking in the oven and fresh bread. And it's funny because my niece and nephew will have like Swedish fish or something, and I'm like, can I smell the bag? Like, the candy and the sugar still smells delightful, and they laugh at me, but I still love the smell of candy, but I just don't eat it, and I don't really have any desire to eat it, I guess. And it's probably, honestly, like any other thing that you do, if you go off plan and you don't eat this way anymore, you will probably gain it back. It would probably be the same with GLP-1s, if you were counting calories and then you eat more one day or 1 week, and they're all the same. Let's be real. If you do something drastic or something that you have acclimated to and then you change it, you know, you'll probably gain weight. So this is probably a way I'm going to have to eat the rest of my life. And at this point, I'm fine with that. I don't really have any intention of changing it, but also I know that when I used to eat a standard American diet, I would constantly tell myself, oh, I'm doing great. And then my sister would say, oh, you want to go out to eat tomorrow? I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. And then you're like, oh, well, I'm not going to go to the Mexican place and not get Mexican food in, right? Like, I'm not going to eat the chips, not going to not eat the chips and salsa, so you eat everything. And then you say, oh, well, I'll just have salad later. And that's what I used to do. Now when we eat out, I usually just get like a burger and take it off the bun. Or we do go to the Mexican restaurant. I just eat the salsa and I don't eat the chips. And I always get the same thing when we go to the Mexican restaurant anyways. I like the soft shell chicken tacos. I'm pretty basic and boring, I guess. So I haven't got enough in me yet to tell the people at the restaurant that I'm not going to eat the tortilla. It's embarrassing to me to like ask for just the insert, the filling of the tortilla. So I still ask for the whole tortilla and then I like scrape the meat out like an idiot. But I did do one time when we went to a Mexican restaurant. I'm like, I'm not gonna eat the tortilla. Can you just give me the insides? And she was like, oh yeah, no problem. She was fine with it. Like it wasn't even a big deal. And honestly, I should do that every single time I go to the restaurant, but I don't eat out that much anyway. And then I feel bad because I wasted it, right? Like we're just gonna toss the tortilla that somebody else could have eaten, but hopefully I'll get brave and just ask for it the way I want it. But I do still eat salad. I don't eat a lot of salads anymore. Like I said, I still eat vegetables. I just don't eat a ton of vegetables, but I never really ate a ton of vegetables anyway. I used to really like carrots. I don't really eat carrots anymore. They're a little bit more carb heavy. They're not horrible, but compared to things I could be eating, but I don't really eat a lot of carrots. I do eat celery. I eat a lot of meat. I eat a lot of cheap meat. I eat a lot of ground beef. I have found that I really like chuck roast. I eat a lot of chuck roast now, and this way of eating could be incredibly expensive, I would imagine, depending on the types and cuts of meat that you eat and how many people you're feeding. I'm feeding myself, so it's feasible, and I actually save money by eating this way because I'm not buying snacks. It's not something for absolutely everybody, and if you're on a very strict budget, I can tell you right now that you can do it because I have no money. And I do it every month, and I buy cheaper cuts of ground beef if it's fatty, and even if I don't want to eat all the fat that's in it, I just drain it. I buy a lot of chicken. They do say you're supposed to eat like the fattier cuts of chicken. I like chicken wings in the oven as long as they're crispy. I don't like them like weird looking. They have to be pretty crispy. I usually eat them plain. Sometimes I do add like G. Hughes sugar-free sauce. That is some stuff that I do use occasionally. I'll go into all this stuff in a different video. I don't want to like make this super, super long. There are some things that I still eat that are not, they are keto or low carb, but they're not really classified as great if you would talk to like Dr. Berg or Westman. I think Dr. Westman. Who else? And Dr. Ken Berry, he probably would tell you not to eat any of that crap, but I still eat it occasionally. But that's for a different video. But I like chicken wings as long as they're crispy. I prefer chicken breast. I don't like thighs and legs. I don't know why. I never have. We grew up eating chicken breast my whole life, and I prefer it. So in order for me to get a little bit more fat into it, I'll cook it in butter or bacon grease or sometimes olive oil if that's what I have. But I just prefer chicken breast, and I do eat a lot of chicken breasts because I like chicken. The only fish that I eat is cod, and I don't eat it that often, but I don't like seafood. I really wish I could get on the bandwagon of eating sardines and stuff just to see how they make me feel, but they're a total no for me. I even thought, since they're cheap, I even thought about buying them and just trying it, and if I didn't like it, I'd feel okay throwing it away. I can't bring myself to buy it because I don't like seafood. It just makes me want to gag. I feel like I should probably be getting in beef liver, and to be fair, I think in December I bought my first thing of beef liver at Walmart, and I brought it home and I opened it and I was gagging the whole way taking it out of the package. Like, I'm not eating this. I don't know what I was thinking. It's gross. And it was like $3 and something, which I don't like to waste stuff. I don't. but I'm like, I'm not gonna eat this, like I'm gagging, and all I've done is take like the packaging off. It was just not for me, and I ended up cooking it up, and I did like over time give it to my dog. He liked it in his food, but I'm like, I can't. I do take beef liver tablets. I can go into that again in a different video, but I do take those, but I can't bring myself to eat the beef liver. There's just things that I have to say no to. I've changed a lot, and I'm not going to force myself to eat something that's going to make me gag. I'm just not going to do it. So, I don't know. I eat a lot of chicken. I eat a lot of ground beef. I found that I like chuck roast. I do like top sirloin. They say eat fattier cuts of steak if you're going to eat steak, but it's expensive. And I don't even buy top sirloin very often because it's expensive. And this is how I make this work for me and my budget and eating cheaply. So I don't buy top sirloin very often, every few months maybe. And I don't like super thick steak. So even when you have like 6 pieces of steak in a package, like if you buy them at Sam's Club, I cut them in half. So I don't know. And I would like to ideally eat 1 meal a day, but in order for me to, if I were counting calories and protein and all of that stuff, in order for me to be able to get enough nutrients in for the day, I would have to eat a lot of food in one sitting, and I can't eat a ton, which is weird. I can't eat a ton in one sitting. I used to be able to eat tons of quantity. Like, it's ridiculous. When I was eating like macaroni and cheese, I could eat the whole stinking box, and like chicken breasts and stuff on the side, and chug down a Diet Coke, and I could do all those things. I can't do that anymore. I just don't have room for it in my stomach. So I do eat twice a day in order to get like enough food in. And like I said, there are days when I don't eat twice a day. I only eat once. And there are days when I eat twice, and then like if it's my period, then I will eat maybe a couple pieces of salami like at 6 o'clock in the evening, and it's like a little snack, but I don't really snack, but occasionally, you know, it is what it is. Every day is a little bit different, but I do eat pretty boring. Like I said, I don't like seafood. I eat the same things over and over again. I love eggs. I like bacon. I like sausage. I like hot dogs. And some of my hot dogs aren't super clean. I eat pepperoni, salami, cheese. You know, I mean, some of those cuts of meat and stuff are not the absolute best from the store. Read the packaging. But it works for me. And I think in 2026, I'd maybe like to tweak a few things. I'd like to get rid of a few things. I don't know. When I say get rid of a few things, I mean maybe like cut back on a few things. Like maybe not have so much dairy in 2026. Maybe that is contributing possibly to me only losing 12 pounds. But again, like I said, 12 pounds is 12 pounds, and I'm not horribly upset about it. I guess coming off of a year where you've lost 90 pounds and then you lose 12, it feels disappointing, but it's not. I'm fine. And I'm thankful that I lost 12 pounds and I didn't gain 12 pounds and I didn't eat like crap, and I'm fine. There's some things that have changed when I started eating this way. Like probably about 6 or 7 months in, I started losing a lot of hair, clumps of hair. Like every time I would get in the shower, I would lose my hair. There'd be tons of hair in the drain. I would brush my hair and almost cry, and it was incredibly upsetting. I did expect it. I guess I never had gone through it before because, to be fair, I've only lost 20 or 30 pounds at a time, which is great. When I was doing Weight Watchers and stuff, that's great. But I never stuck with it, so it wasn't something that continued, you know what I mean? And my body was just probably like, are you gonna feed me? Like, what the hell, you know? But I don't know, but I had a lot of stress and anxiety about it, and I realized that my hair still looks probably thick to most people, but this is like half of the thickness of my hair. My hair was twice this thick before. I had very, very thick hair, and it is starting to grow back. It has been starting to grow back, but it's, you know, it's a process. But I was thankful that I had very thick hair to start with, because if I had very thin hair and I lost as much as I did, I'd probably have a lot of bald spots, and it would be really bad, in my opinion. But it did cause me a lot of stress. And that probably didn't help with my hair loss either, because it was stressing me out that I was losing all my hair. But I've never been in a position where my hair was like balded, and I'm thankful and I'm blessed to have had long, thick hair to begin with. But I did lose a lot of hair. There's a lot of things about losing weight that you don't know until you experience it yourself, or people talk about it, but you think, oh, it's not going to happen to me, because it took me 6 or 7 months before I ever even started to lose any hair. Everything was fine, and I lost a lot of weight in the beginning part, and this is like one day it was like, what? Like clumps of hair in the drain, and it was very stressful and upsetting for me, but it is what it is. It's growing back now, and like I said, I was thankful to have a lot of hair to begin with. So I can't really complain. I know some people have had way worse situation. My cousin has been losing a lot of hair. She's in the same boat. I don't know if she's at the point yet where hers is starting to grow back, because it will start to grow back eventually, but it goes through a process. She's been complaining about it a lot too. So she's like, how long is this going to take? I'm like, honestly, I don't know. It took me many months, like 3 or 4 months before my hair stopped falling out. And now, like, I have noticed a lot of more baby hairs. They're starting to grow in a little bit longer now, so you can't really tell, but I had a lot of baby hairs grown back, but it was growing back. It's just, you know, it's not overnight, but nothing is overnight, unfortunately. So I guess we're pretty far in here and probably boring a lot of people. You can feel free to ask any question you want. I will answer the best that I can. Like I said, this is not going to be for everybody, and people are probably going to see this video and think that's absolutely too extreme. I'm not going to do that. That can't be healthy. And I say, I thought that too. And you know, your whole life you've been told, eat whole grains and do all this and do that. I ate whole grain pasta. I did whole grain bread. I did less stuff. I ate brown rice instead of white rice, and I did all the things. And you know, I'd lose like 10-20 pounds, which is great, right? Any weight loss is great, especially when you need to lose weight or you have health issues. But I would lose the weight, I would lose the momentum. 2 months later, I was eating the same crap again. I'd gain it back plus 30 pounds. It was a lot, and I've done this my entire life. Like, I am 45 now. Shocking, I know, right? But I'm 45 now, and this constant, my entire life, up and down, up and down, up and down, it's exhausting. The highest pant size that it was in was 22, 24. I was in like a 2X, 3X t-shirt. Yeah. I was in a bad way, and I didn't realize how bad it was until you start thinking about your family and taking care of your family. And like I said, I don't have a husband, I don't have kids, but my family is important to me, and I want to be around for my niece and nephew and my sister, and heaven forbid anything happened to my stepdad or my mom. I was thankful that my mom's cancer was found pretty early, and they were able to get rid of it. And as of now, she is cancer free, but she gets checked like every 6 months to a year. As of now, she's fine, but I don't know that that will be the case in a year. Or we've had a couple of deaths in my family this past year in 2025, and that was rough too. I'm trying not to be emotional, but you never know who you might need to be there for, and I don't know. You just never know. Somebody might need to rely on you, and if you're not well, and you know, how can you be there for other people? So I don't know. I would like to see my niece and nephew grow up, and I was almost 300 pounds, and that was rough. And I was complacent because I like cookies. I'm not gonna lie. I love cookies, and I love Swedish Fish, and I like Sour Patch Kids and ice cream and all the things. And you tell yourself, oh, it's just one meal, it's not that big of a deal. And Probably not if it's a one-off thing, but if you eat like that every day and you have so many comorbidities, is that the right word? That's neither here nor there. When you have so many health issues of your own, it's hard to imagine you being able to do anything for anybody else. And I'm not saying that I do so much for everybody else all the time, but if somebody should need me, I would like to be able to be there and see my niece and nephew graduate. My nephew's going to be graduating this year, and my niece in a few years, and she's going to be driving in a year and a half, and I'd like to be there to see all of that. Plus, you know, I need to be here for my dog and my cat, and, you know, I'm sure many people have reasons to be around, and I think that getting your health in order and eating properly is the start. It may not fix all of your problems, and it may not fix all of your problems quickly. I will say that I still have a lot of insulin resistance. Like, if I ate a strawberry, my insulin would go up. A strawberry. It's not going to be like dramatic, but it's going to spike because I test my sugar every now and then. Like I said, I was never diabetic. I was pre-diabetic, but when I started this journey, I did buy a glucose monitor and I test my sugar. I tested a lot more in the beginning, but it is what it is. I test it occasionally now, but there's still a lot of crutches, small things that I would like to get rid of in 2026. And it's not really a New Year's resolution. I just like to kind of try my hand at it, see if I can get rid of some stuff. Like, maybe being able to drink coffee black. I like coffee. It's my crutch now. I don't have any other crutches, but I have not given up my coffee, and I don't intend to. But I would like to maybe not have to put heavy cream in it. I put a teeny tiny bit of sugar-free syrup in it, like half a pump. It's really to a point where you can't even taste it. So why do I still do it? I don't know. But mentally, I think I'm trying to like break myself of these things, like little things, and just get rid of them. But, I don't know. Who knows what 2026 will bring? Hopefully a little bit more weight loss. If not, I guess maybe I'm fine where I'm at. I don't know. I have to evaluate some things, and that's another reason why I've gone back to Carb Manager recently, is to just see maybe I'm not eating enough protein. You know, I don't know. I'm just gonna see where it leads. But anyway, I will try to edit this down a little bit because I can talk a lot sometimes and it's probably a little boring, but if you have questions, feel free to ask. I'll answer them the best that I can. Look, I know this sounds really scary, and if you've thought about it, I would just say try it. Try it for a while. Dr. Ken Berry always says try it for 90 days. Just try it. I don't know. You don't have to eat the most expensive meat. If you're feeding a family, I would say, and you're on an extreme budget, you don't have to buy porterhouse steaks. I don't buy steak that often at all, and I find ways to use ground beef, eat a lot of eggs. Egg prices, 60 count of eggs used to be under $5 probably in like 2019 or so, 2018. I think I just bought some this past week. They were just under $10. So double the price. They're still cheap compared to a lot of things that you could eat, but it's a bit ridiculous. Twice the price. But anyway, you don't have to eat expensive meat. You just, like Dr. Ken Berry always says, you can eat bologna and Spam. I don't like Spam. I don't really like bologna. But you can eat those things. I still eat hot dogs. I still eat Sugardale hot dogs, and they have more sugar in them than some of the other brands on the shelf, but they're also $2 for an 8-pack. So sometimes I buy the Sugardale hot dogs because I'm on a budget and I don't give a crap, right? Like, it's much better than eating a lot of the other stuff. So I know some people, you might watch a channel and they'll tell you have to eat grass-fed, grass-finished beef, and sometimes I do buy that at Sam's, but it's if my budget allows. Sometimes I just buy that big 10-pound roll of it from Walmart that costs like under $40. So I don't give a crap if I'm not eating grass-fed. I'm eating much, much, much better than I used to, and whatever it is, what it is. And I've noticed dramatic results. And hopefully you can too. I have not encouraged my family to completely eat meat or do the things that I've done, and they've seen my results, and I've told them personally how I feel, and it hasn't been enough to change, and that's okay. Everybody comes into it at their own time. Maybe your time is a year from now, maybe it's 6 months from now, maybe it's tomorrow, I don't know. Like I said, I gave myself wiggle room when I started. I thought there's no way I'm gonna not be able to eat low carb tortillas and all this stuff, and I didn't even eat the ones that I bought. I ended up giving them to my mom and my sister and all that other stuff. Like, I gave a lot of my pantry items away, all of them pretty much. I kept bare minimal when I cleaned out my cabinet, and I didn't clean it out at the very beginning. I waited probably 3 months or more before I cleaned it out, but I got rid of things. And hopefully this will inspire somebody else. I'm not great with YouTube editing, so including photos and all that other stuff, I mean, I may do that in another video. I don't really have any on this phone anyway. They're on a thumb drive, I think. Videos or photos of me when I was larger. I do have some cooking videos from about 4 or 5 years ago. They're still on here. My face is in some of them. You could probably tell a difference, but my heaviest, embarrassingly, was 290, and that was when I started in 2023. And I'm under 200 pounds now. I've lost 110. And hopefully, maybe this year I'll lose more. I don't know. If not, I don't think I look horrendous, right? I'm not horribly uncomfortable in my own skin. I would like to lose more weight, but if it comes off slow, it comes off slow. I know that I'm eating better and I feel better, and that's really the main thing for me right now. But anyway, that's it for this video. Hopefully you have some questions and I can answer for you. And hopefully I've inspired somebody to at least try it, right? Even if it's not for you, try it. See how you feel. Give it a little bit of time though. Don't do it for 2 days and give up. You won't notice much difference in 2 days, but hopefully it'll inspire somebody to eat better and feel better and cure some of your ailments. I don't know. That's it. Happy 2026. Hopefully this year is better than 2025. I don't know. 2025 was rough for everybody, including me. But that's it. So Stanley and he's over here sleeping. Stanley and I say goodbye, and we will be seeing you in another video, hopefully. Thank you.